Hello, Victor here, RestoreYourMercedes.com. Today we have a little unusual video. This is the starter from my wife's car, and basically one day it just failed to start. So I hit it and it started. So there's definitely something going on with the starter. Maybe bad ground, maybe oxidation on the case, I don't know yet. And maybe the pull-out mechanism here, the contacts burnt. So I just wanted to show you, this is the starter from a 95 S600 coupe, and as you can see, this seemed to be an original starter, believe it or not. Car has close to 200,000 miles, so obviously it is sort of an expandable part. So I would like to see what's happening in there, because I do hear the click, but I do not hear the motor spin. So also the spring over here seemed to be defective, because as you can see, it sort of comes out and stays out quite easily. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go there, because eventually I'm going to replace it. I just wanted to make sure that the contact points are good and everything around is good, because as you can see, there's some rust over here, so that could also be the case why it didn't start. And but because she has to go to work tomorrow, and today's Sunday, it's nasty outside, it's about to rain, it's winter, it's cold, so I just need to get this thing back into the car so she can drive it tomorrow. And then I'm gonna, once I buy another starter, then obviously I will install another starter, because I don't want to risk it, because she drives it every day. So I'm going to add to this video when I take some stuff apart, and if anything interesting, I'm going to add to the video, because I'm gonna have to take this thing off. It's kind of old, you know. Anything can happen right now. It can just, something can just break off, and that would be the end of it. So I hope it's not gonna happen. All right, so this is the first part, and I'm gonna try to add more to this video during the repair process. Okay, so the alternate starter is in pieces now, and it's very messy here on the bench. But let's get over what's happening inside. So obviously it's all disassembled. Very difficult was to remove the pull magnet, because the bolts were really corroded, and as you can see, there's rust all over, so that was hard. I got them out, no problems. I mean, well, it was difficult, but I got them out at least. Now, the point on the motor terminal, as you can see, this needs to be cleaned up, of course. As you can see, it's not in the greatest shape of its life. On the other side is decent, so we can see that. Well, you get the idea. It's more or less like okay. This one is a little rusty. Now, the actual engagement mechanism, there's a bunch of things broken in it, but it still will work. Like these little bushings here, they're all disintegrated. I'll clean it all up. Now the teeth, sun gear, and you know, they're looks fine. All the gears and all the teeth are okay. Needs a little lubrication, I would say. Now, biggest issue I have here is the engagement mechanism. So here is your engagement lever, and as you can see, it's broken on both sides. It is broken. So it was broken before I removed it, so it's just the way it is. You see, this is another side of it. It's supposed to be in there, just like that, in this manner, but it's broken off. Now the good news is that it pulls in this axis, so it basically rests on broken pieces, and it's guided by its own round area here, so it still engages, okay? And it will engage straight anyway, because obviously everything is guided on the shaft. So even though, like, if the breakage would have been here in this area, I'm probably not going to be able to ever reuse it. At the end, I'm going to replace the starter, but right now, like I said, I needed to dry for like a week or two or whatnot. It's been like this for a while, so I don't see a reason after cleaning for it not to work. Another thing, what I wanted to remove and take this apart, this is our pull down, that's a pull magnet, and our starter engagement points. So these are the points, this is the other end of it. As you can see, points are decent. Okay, they're not burnt or anything like that. Well, that's a good sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them around and reinstall them. So clean them up, of course. So that's the point situation. As you can see, there's less contact on this side than on the other side, but no signs of burning. That's a good sign. That means that nothing was arcing. I'm going to remove the bolts here, so one of them is already out, just to clean it well. So this is the bolt. Current goes through, as you can see. Same thing, it's not burnt, so that's a good news. So it can be cleaned and reused. The brushes, that's another thing why I wanted to take this all apart. Nothing is burned on the actual armature windings or anything like that, so but I wanted to look at brushes, and the brushes, the armature points, they're also not too bad. As you can see, they're dirty, yes, I'll clean them up, of course, but there is still lots of brush material left. There's lots of carbon that is still left, as you can see how tall the brush is. So all of them are in pretty good shape, actually. You can see there's this other brush, there are 4 of them, and there's lots of brush material left. The armature points are also pretty good shape. They're just dirty, but they're not burnt. So this starter should actually work for quite a little bit more time. I'm not sure if this is going to be an issue here, the broken lever, but it was like that, and I'm sure it was broken years ago, so it's not like it broke during removal. So I think it will be all right. All the contact points, let's say like these areas, they all have to be cleaned up. For a reason is that this is grounded, so as you can see, it needs ground. So this is your ground, and obviously this is it. This is cleaned already. This area I cleaned up. So if there is bad ground, you know, when it connects to the case like that, obviously you might have issue with pull solenoid, and therefore it will not have enough current to pull magnet in and for points to reach bolts. So we get the engagement on the starter motor itself. But so far so good. I mean, everything turns, everything spins. It spins pretty well. I do not want to pull armature, although I might. I'm not sure yet, because it's going to be difficult to realign all the, as you can see, if I pull it all the way, you can see that. If I pull it all the way, then I will have issues aligning brushes. So I don't know yet. We'll see. If I will, I will. If you know, I'll take a look at it. I just removed everything and just inspecting it for the first time. So therefore, course of action is not is not planned yet. I mean, I'm just going to think of what I'm doing next. So this is your starter. This is basically how it looks, all in pieces here. Not too bad, actually. I thought everything would have been burned, and after 20 years, well, the car is 95, so you figure 22 years and over 200, well, close to 200,000 miles. It's over 190 now. So obviously this is original starter, and I can say well-built unit, well-built stuff, strong stuff that lasted all these years. It's kind of a bummer to me why Mercedes used plastic lever. It's kind of weird, but I guess just to make it engage quiet or whatnot. Because also because of all of this stuff is broken, there is no, it doesn't return well, as I showed in previous first part. But it's not catching the flywheel, so that's important, because as you can see, the teeth, they're not really grinded, so they're in decent condition, I have to say. So as you can see, so that means even though it doesn't return well because the lever and all is broken, but I'm sure it returns enough where it remains away from flywheel, therefore teeth are not grinding around. So now there's lots of cleaning to come and a bunch of things to lubricate and to assemble it back and put it in the vehicle and see what we get. I might add another part to this, hopefully when everything is in place, and maybe even put the another part showing where starter is and installation of it. So starter is finally back in one piece. Now what I found inside was this washer here that was disintegrated and other things that I already showed. This washer, it appears to be some sort of a, like a, not Teflon, but some sort of a carbon material, kind of like a slider washer, I would say. So, and I know that when starter engages, it's a little harder for it to spin. So I think the washer is in between the case and the actual armature that, not on the starter armature, but the actual gearing. But it's been broken like that for many years, I'm sure, so it doesn't really matter at this point. I did want to paint it real quick, just to have all the rust spots covered, along with some other areas that were opened up during the repair. So again, I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it in the car, so now I'm looking at it internally. It was actually pretty good. Now the solenoid points were actually bad, so they weren't really bad. These things were bad on one of them. This is sort of a washer, but this is it's not metal washer. This is like it's I don't know how to explain this material. This is not paper. This is like sort of hard pressed paper, but it is, you know, you can bend it, you can break it. So what I did is I matched up some washers and I just put them under the bolts so there is better contact. I also shaved off the actual points, and I cut grooves back into the bolts because the grooves were like flat kind of, and there's like copper material was sort of melted, so I recut them so they're nice and cut now. So when it engages to the flat surface, it will start making its own place in that copper plate that actually engages once solenoid is engaged. Obviously everything was lubricated, and I actually did go and open up the brushes, and I did go and polish the armature contacts and grind them down, sand them down, 80 grit, not 80, 180 grit, then I went to 400 and then 600. And brushes, I also went with wire brush and just make sure that they're nice and straight. So what else? That's pretty much all for now. So I'm sure it's gonna work, and I want to show you that it does activate. So there we go. Let's just start it up. So that's the idea. It does work. I have my portable jump pack over here to get all the power that it needs, because power supply obviously is not going to be powerful enough to activate it. So this is where we are, and next is going to be installation, because it's already late and it's dark, because it took me a long time to get through this thing. I'm not a starter rebuilder. I mean, this is the first time I ever opened any starters in my life, but obviously this is not as difficult as other things that I rebuilt, so this is just a little bigger and heavier, that's about all. So the problem with the pullout, as you can see, it's still something that I do not like, because it returns, but because of broken lever it is not going back. But once it disengages, it just jumps back and it remains there, so I think it's gonna be all right. I'm sure it was broken for years. It hasn't been broken like in 15 minutes ago or like an hour ago or like whatever hours ago. It was broken for years, along with this washer. So for now the starter worked, and most likely the problem was there with contact points in the solenoid, not the actual motor or anything else. And obviously when I painted it, I left these areas. It's not a greatest paint job, it's just like a one layer. So, but just because, you know, I had it off already, might as well just drop a layer of paint. This is high temperature paint, so hopefully, and I just waited for about 10 minutes for it to dry, so it's not even fully dried, as you can see, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, I most likely will replace it. All right, so next one is probably going to be installation. I'll try to make that installation video once I go under the car. So here's the car. I had it just on the two jack stands. Obviously I don't want it to fall on me, and the jack, not a fortunate situation, but again, it has to be driven tomorrow. It has to drive. So I'll show you where the starter is. I'm gonna go under it, and it's nasty out as usual. That's my luck. But so this is where our starter will go into, right in there. As you can see, the flywheel. So one bolt is already in place, and they do screw in nice and well, so I'll do that. Now my own car and my wife's car, as you can see, one harness was redone. I redid the harness, but I still have issues. I have my oil level. Continue the recording. My storage went full, so oil level sensor, oil level is leaking. That O-ring, and famous O-ring, as you can see right there. Valve covers are leaking over there, but it's winter time. I don't have time for it now. So starter goes in there. These are some wires here. This is the wires that I did, so they look good. So I guess the next video will be when I have this car starting, and we'll take it from there. So starter was just installed and battery was reconnected. Now the moment of truth. See if it starts. And it starts. It's called start. It's about 40 something degrees. Steering angle sensor needs to be reset because battery was disconnected. But the idea here is, after all this work, the car does start. As a matter of fact, it actually starts easier because now the starter is all lubricated. It's just really quick. Before I heard the speed of the starter was much slower. Now it's much quicker. It's like instant, very nice. So I guess this is a successful repair. Very quick, yeah, starter is definitely spinning faster, much faster. So this is all, so I'm gonna show you another shot underneath, I guess, and that's going to be the end of this video. It's a long video, but I'm gonna have to lower it down now. I'm not gonna even put covers back on right now because I don't want to right now. It's already dark. So there is our starter. Let's see up in there. So it looks rusty, but it's okay actually. So this is it. That's how you fix your starter. I guess we can call it like that. Okay, let me get out and pause and stop this video now. Alright, so this is going to be all basically. This is VictoryStoryMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.